Palantir is one of the most mysterious software companies in the world. For years, most people did not even know it exists. So what exactly is Palantir? A software company, a government contractor, or something far more powerful? This story begins on September 11, 2001, with a failure that would become the origin story of one of the world's most controversial software companies. It was supposed to be ordinary Tuesday. The sky was clean, the city was moving fast, but then the sound came.
There was a loud sound that I can only describe as it sounded like a missile, not an airplane. Then there was a loud explosion and immediately lots of screaming out on the street.
American Airlines Flight 11 hit the North Tower. Black smoke poured into the blue sky. For a moment, no one understood what they were seeing. 17 minutes later, the second plane appeared. United Airlines Flight 175 struck the South Tower, and the answer became clear. This was an attack. After 911, American asked a painful question. How could the most powerful intelligence system fail to see this coming? The answer was never about the lack of information. There was names, travel records, visa file, warnings, financial trace. But those small signals gather across different agencies and different databases, so no one saw the full picture in time. This is where Palantir, a new kind of software company, enters the story. It was born from the failure that the 911 exposed. 10 years later, the same logic returned, but this time, intelligence word had changed. American intelligence used years of fragmented clue, Korean network, surveillance patterns, and behavioral anomalies around a compound in Pakistan. Piece by piece, those signals form a picture, and that picture pointed to one answer: Osama bin Laden's location. And this is the new logic of intelligence. Not just collecting data, not just storing it, but connecting it into a map. And Palantir was the software company that rose inside that logic.
It would allow humans to find needles in haystacks, so make the data intelligible to you and me, which it's not.
When Palantir filed to go public, it described its own origin in one revealing sentence. We were founded in 2003 and started building software for intelligence community in the United States to assist in counterterrorism investigation and operation. Palantir's promise was simple: give us the fragments, we will show you the pattern. That promise make Palantir powerful. It also make it controversial because a tool that helps governments see threats can also raise a darker question. Who gets to look? Who gets to watch? Who decides what happened next? So what is Palantir really building beneath the surface? To understand that, we have to start with the most important word in Palantir's universe: ontology. Imagine an aircraft manufacturer. An aircraft has many parts. Each part comes from a supplier. That supplier may be late. That delay may affect a production line. That production line may affect a delivery date. That delivery date might eventually affect an airline customer, revenue, contract, or even share price. And that is what ontology is trying to explain. If this one thing changes, what breaks next? All of the products designed by Palantir are built around the same idea. First, keep the system running. Then, connect the data and build a map. Finally, let humans and AI act on that map. Palantir has 4 different products to match with each step. First product, Apollo. Apollo is the foundation underneath the system. Most software companies prefer a clean cloud environment, AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, with stable internet and predictable updates. It's like a neat digital apartment with the lights on, the water's running, and the Wi-Fi behaving politely. But Palantir often has to run in places that are anything but clean. This is where Apollo matters. Apollo let Palantir deploy, updates, monitor, and roll back its software across sensitive environments. This is exactly what banks, government agencies, and military units want the most. Once the infrastructure is in place, Palantir can begin building the map. That is Gotham and Foundry. Gotham is Palantir government and defense world. It was built for intelligence, military, and public sector users. This is the world Palantir came from. But then, Palantir saw something important. Governments were not the only institution drowning in fragment. Companies were drowning too. That is where Foundry enters. Foundry is the commercial version of the map. Once that map exists, that brings us to the 4th products. AIP. AIP is where Palantir became much more important to today's market. Because without an operating map, AI is just a smart stranger standing outside the company. It can talk, suggest, write, but it does not truly know the company's real data. AIP is different. It is not just answering generic questions. It is working inside the company's real machinery. So if Palantir is truly powerful, this business must be making a fortune, right? Palantir first enters through a painful problem, then it expands, and slowly Palantir moves from being a tool to part of the organization's nervous systems. That is the final step in bed. Replacing it becomes harder. This is why investors get excited, but this is also why they get nervous. Traditional SaaS companies are easy to understand. Build one product and sell it many times. Palantir is different. It goes deep. It enters messy organization. It touches sensitive data. It adapts to complicated workflows, but it also raises the question, does it require too many engineers? Are development too heavy? Can this really scale like a software company? Or is it a very expensive, very sophisticated consulting business wearing a software mask?